Hello once again. I hope this finds you well. So right now we want to look at session 5. We want to look at project dependencies, and I think we can get started. Let's look at the session objectives. So by the end of this particular session, you'll be in a position to describe what is a project dependencies and what are codependent tasks. We'll look at how to compare types of dependencies in a project. You'll also learn how to create, modify, view, and delete dependency links. And you'll also learn how to work with lag time and lead time in your project. Let's get started. Introduction. MS Project assumes by default that all tasks start on the project start date simultaneously, and tasks are created with the default constraints as soon as possible. You remember we discussed that in an earlier session, and projects have no dependencies. But in real sense, all the tasks in a project cannot start at the same time. And also these projects will have dependency links between them in a project. And dependencies can be considered as the timing relationship between the tasks in the project which you are working on. Okay? Dependent tasks. We are saying dependent or dependency tasks are tasks that are contingent or they rely on other tasks. And we are saying that these tasks rely on each other either as predecessors or successors. That is, task A comes before task B, and task C is the successor of task B. Now, any two tasks can become predecessor-successor pair if they have a timing relationship between them, and a task can have multiple dependency links. So, as a project manager, don't establish dependency links between two tasks just to prevent your resources, that is the people and the equipment, working on the same task simultaneously. Because if you do this, basically what you're doing is that you're creating a resource dependency rather than a task dependency, and this may affect the project schedule, causing resource overallocation. And the following figure illustrates a graphical representation of taskbars in a Gantt chart view with predecessors and successors between the tasks. Now, please open the software development plan we have been working on. Okay, mine is here. Okay, and you can see what exactly is happening. I'm viewing it in the Gantt chart view. We have these tasks, and basically you notice the relationship between these particular tasks. Okay, so we determine the project scope. After we determine the project scope, we then secure the project sponsorship. Then after that, we define the preliminary resources, and then we secure the core resources. See this relationship that exists between these particular tasks. Okay, we move on. Codependent tasks. Now, project managers should not set start dates of tasks close apart, as changes in the project are bound to happen. And one of the best practices is to build time logic between the tasks than assigning specific dates to them. MS Project auto-calculates and adjusts the dates based on the timing logic. And MS Project adjusts dates accordingly while tracking such activities in the project plan. Now we have the following types of dependencies between your tasks. The default is you finish task A, then you start task B, that is finish to start. We have the start to finish, as in you can only finish one task when another one starts. A good example is look at the shifts, the way the guards work. The morning guards can only end their shift in the evening once the evening guards come in. Okay? Finish to finish, this is when tasks finish at the same time. Then start to start, this is basically when two tasks begin at the same time. Okay? Now we look at these steps to set a dependency. Types in MS Project are given below. Now you open the project and you select the task to create a dependency. You double click the task to display the task information dialog box. Then you click the predecessor tab to display the finish to start as the default value for the task. Then you can change the type value to the desired dependency type, either start to start, that is SS, finish to finish, FF, or start to finish, that is SF, or you can set it to none. This is basically when you want to delete the dependencies or to break it. Once you do that, you click on OK to save the information. Finish to start. Now, finish to start is the most common dependency type. And in this, the predecessor task must complete before the successor task starts. It's the default dependency type for any two dependent tasks in MS Project. And in case of finish to start dependency, project managers can have the same team working on one task to move on to its successor task. The following figure illustrates the finish to start dependency indicated by the Gantt chart by the successor taskbar starting where the predecessor taskbar ends. Now, this is the software development plan. Let's see how we can go about this. Now, here I've created small project, and we want to do a project of setting up our small graduation party. Not anything grand. We're just going to have a small party in our home and invite a few guests. The main activities are given below. We're going to prepare the food and drinks. We set up the venue. We commence the event. Then once everything is done, we clean up the venue. The events in each of these, food preparation, we can either cook the food ourselves or we order outside catering. Then we order the drinks and refreshments. The durations are given here. Okay. The next is setting up the venue. These are the events which are going to take place and are setting up the venue. Okay. Then we commence the event. We start with guests arriving and guests leaving at their pleasure. Then finally we clean up the venue. These are the events which are going to take place. Now, the reason why I'm displaying each of these is that I would like you to create this particular file. And once you create it, you can pause the video, type in the events exactly the way they are, plus their durations. Okay. Then once you do that, we can then go ahead and set up the dependencies between these particular tasks. I'll go up to the prepare food and drinks. These two, they don't depend on each other because we're not going to make the refreshments, maybe the fresh juices, but things like sodas, juices, we can order them directly from either the supermarket, the wholesale, or wherever it is that you order the drinks. Okay, so these two can have a start to start relationship. Let's do that. Now, to do this, you make sure you're in the Gantt chart view. So I'll click on Gantt chart. Okay, let me zoom in and we go to the correct date. Now, one more thing I need to show you here is the project start date. So we are going to assume our graduation is going to be on a Friday in October. Let's go to project. Then once in the project tab, I'll click on the project information, and this is the date I've set for the graduation. That is the 2nd. This is the 2nd of October. So please do that so that we can get similar results. Once you do that, you can click on OK. I've already done it, so I'll cancel out of this. So everything is set up here. Now, I'll click on this order drinks and refreshments. I'll go back to task. Then I click on there. So we click on the, make sure in the task tab, then you go to the properties group, then click on the information, and this should launch the task information dialog box. Then kindly switch to the predecessor tab. We select the task name. This should start the same time with this cooking food and or ordering outside catering. The relationship here, or the dependency type we've said is start to start. Come here and select start to start, then click on OK, and you notice the kind of relationship we have here. We can collapse this and move on and see how we can set up other types of relationship. Now, these others, they require you to first of all set up the tent. Once you set up the tent, then you can go under the tent and do all these other activities. So like this arranging of tables and seats is dependent on this. Let's see how we go about this. So we click on this, go back to the information, then go to predecessor. The predecessor is setting up the tent. So select set up the tent. It actually picks up the dependency correctly. Remember we said this is the default. Then click on OK. And you can zoom in to see the relationship properly. Okay. Just give me one moment. Okay. Now you can see the relationship we have here, or the dependency we have here. Okay, we can double click on this, and then wiping tables and seats comes after we set them up, or it can start at the same time. As you're arranging them, you're also wiping them. So that one can also be a start to start. So come here and select wipe, select arrange. Okay. Then this can be start to start. Then click on OK. So we have the start to start. Then setting up the table or seat clothes. These are the seat covers. Sorry, let me just change this very quickly. This is the tablecloths. Setting up the tablecloths and seat covers. We set up the dependency. This is dependent on wipe tables, and we have to wait for the seats to be dry and the tables. Then we set up the tablecloths and the seat covers. Then click on OK, and we have that relationship set up. This one, setting up the sound system, can start as soon as we finish setting up the tent. You can double click on this, and this, once we finish setting up the tent, then can begin this. Then of course this cannot start until we finish doing this. We double click on it, and this is set up the sound system. Set up the sound system. You are finished to start. Then click on OK. Good. We move right along. So we've seen start to finish. So I told you, or I used an illustration. So in start to finish dependency, the successor task must finish only after the predecessor task starts. And if the predecessor is delayed, the successor task will not finish. So this type of dependency is a bit tricky, as the second task cannot finish until the first one starts. However, the second task can finish any time after the first task starts. The following figure shows the start to finish dependency link in the Gantt chart view. Now, just to further expound on the example I used, if we look at the morning guards, because of this curfew business, you notice that the evening guards are coming a bit earlier. And once they come in earlier, they're coming before 6. So they are able to release their colleagues earlier. That is a good example of this. And you can see now the finish to start, the arrow actually, this is starting once this finishes. Okay. Then start to start we've seen. So start to start dependency type exists when either two tasks start simultaneously, or the second task begins immediately after the first task. And project managers use start to start dependency links to minimize the downtime between tasks or projects, and to coordinate resources to utilize the organization's time and assets. With this technique, it is possible to simultaneously utilize the necessary resources without waiting for one task to complete to begin the next one or to begin another. And the following illustrates the start to start dependency link between the task review, functional specification, and develop training specification for end users. This is in your software development plan. Okay. We move on. Okay, now we want to illustrate the finish to finish, and we want to finish serving the refreshments as soon as we finish serving the food. Okay, so let's switch back to that graduation party project. So come here, click on graduation party. Make sure you expand the event commencement, and you can see here we have serve refreshments, and here we have serve food. Now, this one you can see is taking a little bit longer. This is 6 hours, this is 5 hours. So they are supposed to end at the same time. I'll double click on this. Then we select the serve food. Serve refreshments. This task here. Then this is supposed to be finish to finish. Then click on OK. And you notice the relationship. Now, the reason why we set this up this way is once your guests arrive, you can serve them juice, soda, or whatever other refreshment you'd like to serve in your own party. And of course, after that, then that is when you serve food. We move right along. Okay, that is finish to finish. Lag time and lead time. Now, a project manager should also assume delays and overflows in schedules. And lead time or lag time values can be defined in terms of either duration or percentage. An MS project lead time or lag time is specified on the predecessor tab of the task information dialog box. Lag time basically is usually the delay between tasks, and lag time is created by entering a positive value in the duration in the lag field. Okay. The other one is lead time. Now, lead time basically refers to the time overlap between tasks. And lead time or lag time values can be defined in terms of either duration or percentages. Lead time is created by entering a negative value for a duration in the lag field. Now, what exactly are we talking about? Let's go back to our graduation party. Let's go back to food preparation. Now, if you look at these two tasks, you can see that this is going to take us 2 hours. And it seems that the sodas or the drinks are going to arrive earlier than the food. If you want them to arrive at the same time, what you can do is that you can have a 3-hour delay. To do that, you double click on this. Then the relationship still remains start to start. And basically, we want this is taking 2 hours. Okay, let's just look at this. Food preparation is going to take us 5 hours. This is going to take us 2 hours. We want them to finish at the same time. So you can have a lag of 3 hours. So inside here, type in 3H, then tap on enter, or click on OK. And now notice what is happening here. Both of these tasks finish at the same time. Although this has a lag of about 3 hours. Now, to illustrate this concept of lead time, we are going to use this relationship. So please make sure you're in the setup venue. Okay. You need to expand it. We are going to use these two. So we will modify the relationship first so that you're supposed to start wiping the seats and tables after they are well arranged. Although we said hours, as you're arranging them, you're also wiping them. You want to save on some time. What you're going to do here is change this relationship or this dependency from start to finish. So come here. Instead of start to start, you set this to the default. Click on OK. Now notice what happens. So here we're actually losing some time. Now to gain back that time, what you do is go back. Then you enter a lead time of 40 minutes. Or maybe even 30, whichever. So if you want to take it back exactly to what it was, you enter a value of -40 here, -40. Then you ensure that this is in minutes. Then then click on OK. And you can see that they both start at the same time. but the relationship now is not start to start it. This is finish, then you start the next task. Okay, that is a lead time, and the other one was lag time. We move right on. So you can see what it is that we have. Now here they're actually using a percent. Remember we said you can use positive, negative values, or you can use percentages. Now creating and modifying the dependency links. Now creating the dependency links between tasks in MS Project involves the following 3 steps. You create the dependency link, you specify the dependency type, and then you build in any lead time or lag time. If users wish to change the dependency type, they can edit the dependency type or build lag or lead time, and users need to perform the following steps to establish a finish to start dependency link. You open the Gantt chart to display the tasks, then you click the predecessor taskbar and drag the mouse pointer over the successor taskbar. A box appears while dragging the mouse and pointer changes into a little chain link. When the tooltip indicates the task number to link, release the mouse button. This establishes a finish to start dependency between the 2 tasks. Let's see what it is that you're talking about very quickly. Now switch back to our graduation party. So I'll come here. Okay. We want to create a dependency between 2 tasks. What we do is we want to establish the relationship. Okay. Now we need to start the event with prayers, then now we can begin serving food and all these other events. We have, this is actually very small, you can't see it. And I'll click on it, you can see what I have. Sorry. I'll click, then drag. You see that chain I have? Then once we finish that, we release that, and we have now a finish to start dependency. Maybe we can do another one. We have to finish the speeches, then we cut the cake. So I'll come in here, take this, make sure you have that 4-headed arrow, then drag, and then release. And you notice that this moves ahead. And the same for this one. Okay, drag, then release. Then do the same for this. Okay, then release. Okay, so that is how you set up the finish to start a relationship, just by dragging and dropping. We move right on. Now, modifying a dependency link. Now, the process of modifying an existing dependency relationship involves the following steps. 1. Note the task ID for which the dependency links need to be modified. Then you select its successor task in the tracking Gantt chart table and click the information button on the task tab to display the task information the task information dialog box. You click the predecessor tab to establish the dependency links. Then you select the predecessor task name and select the type from the drop-down list as shown in the following figure. Now, we're not going to do this as we have already made a modification. You remember the way we have changed the modification for the drinks. Okay, that was a good example of how we go about doing this. Okay, we have done this as well. And finally, you click on OK to save the information. We move right on. Now, deleting a dependency link. Now, project schedules might undergo edits during the life cycle of a project to accommodate uncertainties. Of course, it always happens. Like during the rainy season, most of the road construction projects, they usually lag behind. Project managers can delete dependency links either from the Gantt chart view or using the task information dialog box. The following are the steps to delete a dependency link from the Gantt chart view. You select the 2 tasks whose dependency needs to be deleted. In the trunking Gantt chart table, you select adjacent tasks by dragging and selecting their task IDs. To select non-adjacent tasks, you click on one task ID, press and hold the control key, then click the non-adjacent task ID. Click the Unlink Task button in the Schedule group of the Task tab. Okay. Then steps to delete a link using the task information dialog box. So you select the successor task name in the dependency link in the Gantt tracking table. You click the information button in the task tab to display the task information dialog box. Then on the predecessor tab from the drop-down list, in the type column for the dependency, you choose none. Then click OK to save the changes and delete the dependency. This is what it is that we are talking about. Let's do this very quickly. Now go back to your graduation. Okay, we have this. Let's say we want to delete the dependencies between, like the arranging of seats and the wiping of tables. Now we double click on this and we get the task information dialog box and we select none. Then click on OK and the dependency is gone. Okay. I'll just undo so that we have a logical flow. And as you're doing this, always make sure you are saving your work. You can also remove this. Now, let's remove the dependencies between food and the drinks. You can double click on this line and you get the task dependency dialog. Then you can click on delete and that dependency is deleted. We'll bring it right back. The other way you go about it is, now the other way you can go about this, we want to unlink these two tasks. You highlight both of them. I'll click on the first one, hold down the shift key. These two are adjacent. We said if they are non-adjacent, you basically hold down the control key. Now in the task tab, you go to the schedule group, then you click on the unlink tasks. The keyboard shortcut is given there, Control, Shift and F2. Once you click on that, you notice that the link basically is broken. Okay, so I'll just bring it right back and save our work. Let's continue. Okay, now viewing dependency links. Now project managers can choose ways to visualize data as needed, and MS Project 2010 provides the following ways to view dependencies in a project. We have the Gantt chart view, the network diagram view, and the task inspector view. Now, network diagram view. In the network diagram view, each task node displays a critical task information, and between the nodes are lines which reveal the task dependency links, and by default, the critical dependency links are displayed in red, and all non-critical tasks are displayed in blue. On the network diagram view, you right-click outside any task node, select layout from the menu, then you select show link labels checkbox, and this displays the dependency code for dependency types between tasks such as finish, FS for finish to start. This is what basically it looks like. Now we are going to switch over to our graduation party. So we click on this and we want to see the network diagram and also the layout. We come to the view, so please make sure in the task tab, click this drop down and select network diagram. And maybe we would like to see the relationship between food preparation and the ordering of drinks. So we are told to right click anywhere. Then we select the option layout, and we actually get to see this layout dialog box. Okay, so I'll cancel out of this and we move right along. We have this, and the following figure displays the dependency links in the network diagram view. The last one is the task inspector. Now to view the dependencies by tasks, the user can select the task in the tracking Gantt chart table and click the inspect button in the task group of the task tab, and this displays the complete schedule of the task, including its predecessor tasks in the task inspector on the left on the tracking Gantt table. Displaying the task ID, successors, and predecessor columns for each task in any view, such as the Gantt chart view, shows the dependency with any lead time or lag time in the percentages or length of time. And the following illustrates the display of the task inspector. Now, the task inspector will be displayed on the left side of your Gantt chart, and you can make any corrections inside the task view. Okay, we've come to the end of that session 5, and basically let's summarize very quickly. This session, we learned that dependency tasks are tasks that are dependent on other tasks, either a predecessor or a successor. MS Project identifies 4 types of dependency links, namely finish to start, start to finish, start to start, and finish to finish. Finish to start is the default dependency type for any 2 dependent tasks in MS Project. And to accommodate for delays and overflows in the schedule, it is a good practice for project managers to set lead time and lag time for tasks. Dependencies can be created between tasks by either drag and drop action in the Gantt chart, or by holding the control key and clicking the link tasks button in the schedule group of the task tab. Project managers can edit existing dependencies or add new dependencies anytime during the life cycle of a project. Managers can delete dependencies from either the Gantt chart view or using the task information dialog box. Managers can view task dependencies in a project in 3 ways. 1, using the Gantt chart view, network diagram view, or the task inspector. So that is the end of it for today's session. See you in the next session. Nice time and God bless.